Прямо сейчас мы начинаем наш вебинар. Можете увидеть вот столько, очень много желающих, которые хотят зайти на наш вебинар. Жду всех. Hi, Sabina.
Hi,
How
Tursunoy.
are you doing?
Good, how are you? It has been a long time that I haven't talked to you.
Yeah, exactly. I missed you so much.
Me too. How is everything? Okay, we can talk later. I think your students are waiting, but I'm
Yeah.
so happy to see you.
I'm happy to see you too. And yeah, it was very long time and we need a long talk, right?
Yeah, and I'm so sorry. I was like, we were trying to do it earlier, but because of bar exam, I couldn't manage.
I get it. It's fine. It's all right. Should I make you a co-host so that you can share the presentation, or do you want me to share that?
If you don't mind, can you do that? Because when I'm talking and it's on PDF and it's very small. I don't know. Let me see. Maybe I can change it. Is it PDF or PPT in your key in your file?
I can do that by myself. That's not a question for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. And now I'm going to admit all the participants. By the way, there's going to be more students than I've expected, actually. There's been almost already 15 of the students are waiting at the moment, and there will be a lot more very soon. And please don't panic. You are a famous star. Actually, there's been a lot of, like comments about like I've been waiting to talk to that girl and so on. So yeah.
Okay. It's good. I would be happy to share my experience and give advice as much as I can.
Sure, thank you. Just a second. We are waiting. Hello, everyone. Hi. Hello. Hello, everyone. Can everyone hear me, please? Type in the chat so that we can hear you or know that you have been listening to us. Please write in the chat if you can hear us or not. Okay. Okay, hi. I see your comments. Okay, thank you so much. Let me start the recording because I have a problem. I always, yeah, it's been recording already, right? That's great. Because every time when there is something very important going on and I just forget about the recording and everything just disappears. That's why it's really important for me. Okay, thank you guys for getting in and finding the time for us for the webinar. I'm very glad to see you all here. And today we're gonna have our guest, which is Sabina Khrori, we have been trying to call her and trying to do this webinar for so long. It took us about half a year or so just to make this webinar. So please, guys, make sure that you don't miss this opportunity. I see a lot of questions already here, and please let Sabina talk first, and she will explain everything, how she got into the university and how she got her full scholarship. And it's gonna be a really great opportunity for every student who is going to study in the US. Thank you for your interest, and Sabina, welcome here. Hi.
Hi, Tursunoy. Hi, everyone. First of all, thank you for inviting. And as you mentioned, we have been trying to do this webinar since January or February, but I'm so glad that finally we did it. And I would be happy to share my experience. And I know so many students are interested in studying abroad. And if you have any questions, guys, don't be shy. Just feel free to ask any questions. And at the end, we will have Q&A session where you will be given a chance to ask any questions, and I will do my best to answer. And during this webinar, I will try to be resourceful and to help you as much as I can. And just don't be shy, and if you have questions, keep asking. Okay.
Okay, should I go on to the next slide?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I am Sabina. I am from Samarkand. I will talk a little bit about my background, because the purpose of this webinar is about application process, and all universities, they pay attention to your background. That's why we will be discussing my background just as an example, but everyone has different background. I just graduated from University of Miami School of Law, LLM degree in international arbitration. And LLM, I will talk a little bit about LLM because it's specifically for law students, and it's 1 year program. You can study in 3 or 4 semesters if you wish, but in my case, it was 2 semesters full time, and I started in August and just finished in May. So if you are in law school and if you're considering to continue your degree in LLM, it's a very great opportunity. Within 1 year, you will have chance to study in US university, and then you will be eligible to sit for bar exam. We can talk about details if you're in law school, but generally, so yeah, I just graduated from School of Law in May. It has been 2 months already. Can you please go to next slide?
Sure. Okay.
Okay, so I graduated from Westminster International University in Tashkent in 2021, last year, and my major was commercial law. And when I was studying, I was trying to be involved in different extracurricular activities, internships, and everything as much as I could do. And so I participated in Wismut competition. It's for law students again. So most of my social events were related to law, but in every university there are different events, so you can always join and different clubs. So I went to Vienna, Austria to participate in this competition, where I heard for the first time about University of Miami. And every time when you meet students from different universities, different countries, just try to stay in touch, exchange your numbers. This way you can get some information which is not available on website. So I met some students from University of Miami in 2018 in Austria, and then we were in touch, and I was really interested. Then I started doing my research for over 3 years, and it's always helpful to be connected to people who are already studying in that university where you are planning to apply. And So yeah, I graduated from Westminster, and so I graduated in May and I started in August. Most people say that you need to gain experience before starting your master's degree. I agree, but I just wanted to continue my education without any break, so that I had my fresh knowledge and it was easy to handle, because I heard some cases where students, they graduate, they finish their bachelor's and they take a couple of years break, and when they become students again, it's a little bit challenging. But in my case, it was really good. Even if I was one of the youngest students among my group mates, it was doable. So you can always do, even if you apply right after your graduation, you should be fine.
Sabina, can I ask a question here?
Sure.
Can you tell us what was your GPA from Westminster International University?
So at Westminster, it's like if you get 70 plus, it's considered as first
Honors?
I forgot how it's
First
called.
class honors?
Yes, first class honors. So, and I always had in average, they calculate GPA in average, and my average was above 70. And but I had case where I had, for example, 65, but as a subject, it would be, for example, 85 or 86. So they just calculate the average, and I had always good grades. And when applying to universities, most of the universities, they pay attention to GPA, and I highly recommend to have good GPA. And in my case, it was really helpful. And one of the reasons, I think, which affected to get scholarship was my good GPA.
Yeah, there's another one question. Most of the time, some of the universities actually do require the evaluation of your GPAs if it's like international, some other university. Did the University of Miami require you to get the evaluation?
No, in my case, they didn't ask about it because I was still studying my final year, and I didn't have my diploma during that time. But they asked for transcript, and my university sent transcript directly, so that they could see it. But I didn't provide this evaluation. But I have heard, I had friends who provided evaluation, and there are special agencies which help you to do this evaluation. But University of Miami didn't ask in my case.
I see. Yeah, that's a very great choice, because this evaluation stuff takes a lot of time and energy. And that's great that this university doesn't really require you to do that. And there is another question comes, if there is no any evaluation, and if there is no any like your GPA was about 70%, and did you get your IELTS done, even though if you studied in the international university, which was already like English speaking university?
Yeah, thanks for question. I took IELTS after my third year just to make sure that I have it if they ask, but they didn't ask, I didn't provide. But in case if they ask me, I already had it in hand, but they didn't ask me. And when I was checking the requirements, most of the universities, they were asking 7.5, and writing section, especially for law school, you should have really good IELTS. But again, when I provided my transcript and all those documents, they didn't ask for IELTS. And my university, from University of Westminster, they provided letter which shows that we study in English and all subjects are taught in English, and there was no need for IELTS, and they accepted it. It's like waiving IELTS requirement.
That is really great, because we have been having a lot of cases, even though sometimes even for me, for example, even though I studied in Webster University, which is also American, but still I had to provide IELTS certificate just because it's situated only in Uzbekistan, not in USA, not in English-speaking countries. So that was really...
I understand. I have very good friend. He just graduated from George Washington University, and I remember he was also he studied at Westminster, but he was required to provide IELTS certificate. So it depends on university. In my case, University of Miami didn't ask, but some universities, even for LLM programs, for different master's degree programs, they ask for it.
Yeah, that is really great. You were so lucky with that. Okay, we can.
Yes.
Nice, that is really great. And can you tell more about the Vismut arbitration? What was that, and how did you get into
Sure.
this program?
So Vismut competition, it's for law students, and it's held every year in Austria, Vienna in March. And in March, only hearing will take place, but usually it starts in September or early October, and throughout the academic year, you write different, you will have deadlines, and you have to submit your documents and different requirements. So our university, Westminster University, was participating, and we had summer school, and you have to participate in that summer school, and after that there will be selection process, and only 5 or 6 students are selected, and I got into team, and after that we were we had different lectures throughout summer, and also starting from September till March. So our lecturer from our university, our coach, he was helping us to prepare for the competition. It was in 2017, and it was really tough, and studying at Westminster and having your own deadlines and preparing for competition was very tough, challenging. And I remember I was leaving library every day at least 8 p.m., 9 p.m. But I'm so grateful that I did it. Before coming to US, first time I went to Europe, and it was great experience. And so more than 300 universities from all over the world participate in this competition. And only a couple of universities from Uzbekistan, maybe 2 universities participated, and we were among them. And we still have this competition at VUZE, and I think also Tashkent State University of Law and University of Diplomacy, they have this competition, but I'm not sure about other universities. But it's great chance, and if you are studying in law school, I highly recommend to join maybe Vismut competition, maybe dress up. It's just this kind of competitions. They teach you, you gain knowledge, you gain experience. The most important thing, you meet different people, and it's really helpful for networking purpose. You meet different arbitrators, and I met famous lawyers, arbitrators, and this is where I started, I became interested in arbitration. Until that time, I had no idea about arbitration. Then I really became interested. Now I studied arbitration even for my master's. So just try different, my suggestion to students, try to get involved to different projects, different events, mood competitions, so that you will try and you will see if you like it or not. If you like it, as in my case, I liked it. That's why even it took me 2-3 years to wait until I got into my master's. Then I studied arbitration. And even when I was studying at University of Miami, I met a couple of students from Italy, from, I remember one girl from Italy. We met her in Austria in 2018. And when we studied at UM, she was, oh, we met each other. Like, it's always good to have this kind of experiences and to make good connections. So it's always helpful.
Yeah, that's great. As I remember, you mentioned that if a law student actually participates in Vismut arbitration, that means the university owes you at least 50% of the scholarship. Is that right?
No, it's not right. And in my case, we tried to find sponsors, so at least they would cover our flight tickets. But it didn't happen, and everything was covered by our parents, and it was self-funded. So our university was helping every year to get tickets, but that year there was some financial difficulty, maybe, I'm not sure, but yeah, university didn't help. But we had first internal rounds among our students at Westminster, and our coach, she was working in one top law firms, and that law firm, they said, okay, we will choose one student who will perform best, and then we will cover only flight tickets, not hotel or other expenses. But then I was lucky, and I got this, I won in that internal competition, and they bought me ticket, round ticket, but the rest, everything was self-financed.
Wow, that was actually a big surprise for me, because I thought, like, if it's this moot arbitration and if it's also in Vienna, Austria, I thought it's gonna be a fully funded scholarship, which will provide you everything with the flight, with the living expenses and so on. But yeah,
Actually, in local universities, they provide everything. Tashkent University of University of Diplomacy, they provide everything, and during that time we were like, this so lucky, why we didn't get this opportunity. But again, maybe now things changed, and maybe even Westminster is helping students, but in our case, no financial support from university.
I see. Because I thought, like, this moot arbitration itself should fund the student, not the universities itself. You know, like, I thought there is an organization that would support students, maybe. But yeah, still, I am applying for some MUN conferences right now, and I see that there is no any chance of getting any scholarship or funding. And now I see that, but still, even though you pay for something, you still get a lot of, like, experience, and like,
Exactly, it's self-investment, and I'm so grateful that I did it. If I didn't go for this competition, if I was not in the team, I don't think I would get full scholarship. Yes, there were other factors, but this was the main factor, because it was arbitration competition, and I studied arbitration at University of Miami, so it was one of the biggest factors, I guess.
yeah, I see that. Yeah, there is a lot more value than the money that you pay, right?
Yes, so even for application process, I will talk more about that, but I remember I was buying a lot of books, how to write application, like how to write your essay, statement of purpose, and it's just, if you don't invest, and it's hard to achieve something, so yeah.
Yeah,
It's just self-investment.
that's exactly for sure. Let's go to the next. Okay.
Yeah, so we both UGRAD alumni. Tursunoy also was UGRAD alumni. We still have reunions. I went to West Liberty University in West Virginia 2018, and it was one of the best experiences. And I studied one semester, and studying one semester in US was great experience. But even I can say that I met wonderful people from Uzbekistan, from around the world, and including Tursunoy. This is how we became friends, and it's just great opportunity for networking and meeting people who have similar interests. And also, when you study in US, it's fully funded. You pay nothing. They pay your tuition fees, they pay dormitory, flight tickets, meal plan, and even stipend. And with our stipend, we were saving and traveling around US. And So it's great opportunity. And when I came to study during my UGRAD program, I was trying to go to different universities to see if I will like it, if I want to study there. And it's just great experience. And if you're studying your undergraduate, I see some of the students, they're still in the undergrad, and it's great opportunity. You just need to apply for this program and try it. It's just best I can say it's best exchange program.
Yeah, exactly.
And go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Global UGRAD program was a great opportunity, and it was like the start of everything. If not that, I would not know Sabina, and I would not have my own, for example, this project myself. And this is how the networking worked, and Global UGRAD networking was the most, the best that have happened actually in my life. So I'm really grateful for that. And yeah, the university, if you really guys, if you study in your undergraduate levels, if you're in the third course, and if you're in the first course or the second, you can already apply to this program and get a fully funded scholarship, which will cover one whole semester of your studies in the US, which will change your life for the entirely, right? So yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. It changed our lives. I was not sure if I wanted to study abroad, and this was a great chance to come to see if I like American education system, and it's just very good opportunity for students, especially the fact that they provide everything. You shouldn't worry about financing, because it's really hard to, even if you have full scholarship for the universities, you have to cover the rest, like living expenses. But here for UGRAD, you don't worry about anything. They take care of everything.
Yeah, it's like the cheapest version of everything.
Yes.
Okay.
And I also did my internship at US Embassy Tashkent and British Embassy Tashkent, and it was during my undergraduate when I was studying at Westminster. So most students approach me and they ask me if internship is needed. And I remember there were a couple of friends who were discouraging me, why do you need to do internship? And especially it's unpaid and you're just spending your time. So don't listen to those people. And even if it's unpaid internship, let it be in embassy, let it be as an organization. You just need to gain experience. When you apply for universities, they pay attention if you have experience. Again, in my case, University of Miami, they were only considering students who had work experience, and I'm like, I never worked officially. I had only internship experience. But what is good in US, they consider internship experience as job experience, and they were that's why it was really helpful. So even if it's unpaid, it will be really challenging to handle both your studies and working part-time. Internships are usually part-time, but at the end you will gain experience, you will meet wonderful people, and it's good for your resume. It's beginning of your so your resume, your CV, if you don't have experience, it's like empty. You have nothing to write. But if you have at least internship experience, it will help you. You can start maybe having 1 month internship, maybe 3 months internship. Later on, you can have 1 year. Maybe they will offer you a job. So there were so many cases after internship, they offer you full-time positions. So it's always good to start with internships.
Exactly. You're so right about the experiences and so on. And most of the cases, students ask me, should I have like official experience and in my like трудовая книжка, you know, like should I have that experience in my трудовая книжка? And I'm like, guys, universities in the US are not going to check if you have this трудовая книжка, first of all. And secondly, they're not going to check if you really have the experience in your in official way, like full-time or not. And then I explain that the most important part is that you have an experience. Experience can be your internships or full-time job or part-time job, doesn't matter, but it should be experience, right?
Yeah, exactly. They're not going to check. Even in my case, they didn't call embassy and they didn't ask if I worked from that year to that year and if I performed all the jobs. They're not going to do that. But when you have, after being accepted, when you have Zoom meeting or a call, maybe you will have phone call, they will ask a couple of questions and they really know what they are asking and they can understand if you really had this internship or not. And I always I don't recommend to write fake internship offers. Some people, they just write down for the sake of having it on their resume. I don't recommend it, but while studying, why don't you just try to get involved into different programs? So I know studying is hard and I know it takes time, but even being full-time student, you still have every day 3-4 hours free time. Rather than wasting this time, why don't you get involved into different internship and different extracurricular activities?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the question what I was gonna say actually. Can you advise something about the activities for those who are gonna apply to for master's degrees in law or economics, or what would you suggest in activities that should be apart from the studies at school?
So if considering studying your master's degree throughout your undergrad, you should be involved almost in every event of national university or local universities. There are many conferences, events.
Yes. Can you? I can hear you.
Yeah, now I can hear. So my internet was not good. So yeah, if you're studying your undergrad, just even if you're in high school, if you're applying for undergrad to US university, you should get involved in many events. And one of the biggest event would be, I think it's MUN conference. You should definitely try this MUN because you will be they will distribute countries to each student, and you will gain this experience representing country, and students will be provided specific topics and so on and so forth. It's really good experience, and I think nowadays each university is organizing, even high schools are organizing MUN conferences. You can participate and include that on your resume. Another event would be, maybe you want to run your own club. You can always open your new club in your university and run that club. Or maybe if you're in law school, maybe you will just try this mood dress up, or some other, there was new event like investment mood competition. Just these mood competitions, it's really helpful. Even you learn how to speak, you learn how to act in front of judges, and just most people ask me how I get these all results. Like I got this mood, I got UGRAD internships, and it's not that I was lucky to, yes, I was lucky to get, but I was applying to everything possible. And there are so many events or so many conferences where I got rejection, so many programs where I got rejection, but people don't know those rejections. It's not about how many rejection you get, it's just you need to keep applying. For embassy internship, I remember when I came to Tashkent to study, I applied. It was 2016 and I got rejected. Then I applied again next year, then I was accepted. So even for UGRAD, some students, they try hard and they don't get accepted. But the fact that it's so competitive, students come from all over Uzbekistan, you shouldn't give up. You should prepare better for the next year. Maybe within this year, you will learn how to approach correctly. Maybe something was wrong. Scholarship, you shouldn't give up. You should keep moving and keep applying to different universities. There are so many universities, and usually getting acceptance is not hard for US university, but getting scholarship is hard. So maybe something is missing in your qualities. It's just you need to find out and work on clubs or events or whichever you are applying.
Yeah, that was really useful information for us, because people would be like coming to me most of the cases and they say, I have my IELTS 6 point or 6.5, let's say, and they say, can I get accepted to the universities? And I try to explain them that just having IELTS is not a guarantee that you will get accepted or you will get the scholarship. Even with the most maximum score in your SAT or your GRE, GMAT exams, that is not the thing that will let you to get into these universities with a full scholarship. It's the total different activities that you should do before applying to the university. And most of the cases, people will be coming to me at their 11th grade at school, or sometimes they come to me at their universities when they're already in their 4th grade and they have been already like completing their studies, and they say, just help me to get accepted to the university. And I say, what did you do in your university? The 4 year of the university is a great opportunity for you to actually use every year, every single month for your positive chances, right? It's a chance for you to grow, to use more opportunities, to make your activities even more like professional, to work on yourself and so on. The university time is not the time where you have to earn money. It's the time where you have to find yourself, discover yourself. What do you want from your life? Do you really want to still study in IT, for example? In my case, I tried to study IT several years, but at the end, I came up to the fact that I am not a programmer. After only after 2 years of trying, I understood that. And then I went to management profile, and then where I found myself. And in education right now, the management of education is working for me now. So that's why your nose should be everywhere before you complete your studies. And that's the 4 year of your studies. It's the best time for you to find yourself, guys. Yeah.
I also want to add just one point about IELTS. So IELTS is when universities when they check your application, it's just one factor. Because you will be studying in English, but it's not the main factor. The main factor, they just want to see who you are, if you deserve the scholarship or if you deserve to be this university student. So I know the student, she had 6.5, but recently she got full scholarship to study her bachelor's, and she just came to US. So with 6.5, it means, yes, she understands English, but it's not the most important factor. So it's always good to have higher score, but I know some students who have IELTS 8, but they don't get scholarship. So you should pay attention to IELTS, of course, but at the same time, getting involved in those extracurricular activities, those kind of events, conferences, international conferences, they are the main reasons, like internships and etc.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sabina. Now I would like to ask you about some of your recommendations, your own experience about statement of purpose. How did you write it, and how much time did it take? How many words did you write, and what did you write about?
So statement of purpose, in my case, I remember I wrote, it took me more than 2 months. And when I say more than 2 months, some people don't understand. How can you write 2-page essay 2 months? But I was writing, then I didn't like, after a couple of days, I would restart and I would write everything differently. And then I would just close my notebook, and after a couple of days, I don't like it again. But I started thinking about how to write it already in my third year. So I bought a special book where they had collection of successful statement of purpose essays. Yeah. And I was just reading different essays to have idea how I should structure, how should I write. And one thing I learned, it was you should always grab attention of the reader. It shouldn't be like the same. Most people write the statement of purpose is duplicate of their resume. They just copy and they say, okay, I have this. It's boring. So those people who are sitting in admission office, those admission officers, they read a couple of essays every day. Maybe you need to have really good start point where you can grab their attention, and then it's statement of purpose. I say it's selling yourself. You should be humble, but at the same time you should explain them and show them that you deserve scholarship, you deserve to be the student. And it's most of the time the main thing. I would suggest to start with good story. And also when you finish it, very important factor is asking your friends help for peer review. Peer review is very important, and in my case I asked maybe 6-7 friends to review and give me feedback, and getting feedback is always helpful. Sometimes your essay might seem wonderful when you read, but if another person reads, they can see that maybe it's hard to understand, maybe it's too detailed. So asking different people's opinion, people who have already been in this process, who already have experience, not asking someone who has no idea. It's not helpful, but someone who already got scholarship or who already got into university. And in my case, those friends from UGRAD teams, they were helpful, and some other friends, my own friends. And so, and you need to start as early as possible. Start thinking about how you want, what story you want. Each statement of purpose, in my opinion, it must have a story. I can share my story shortly. So what I wrote, since I was applying to law school, I said during school times we were sent for cotton picking, because during those times we had cotton picking, and I was against it, and I encouraged my friends. We all were fighting against our rights for child abuse and human rights. And it's you don't don't want to give them negative information about the country, but since I was applying to law school, I just needed to show that I have skill to stand for my own right and to fight for my own right. And this was my short story, how I started. And then you just start saying, I participated in that competition, I did that one, and you just need to write it so well. It shouldn't be the same as your resume. In your resume, you can just say, for example, Bismuth 2018, Vienna, Austria. But when you write in your statement of purpose, I could say, I was one of the youngest participants of of our university team. It was so challenging because for students who just got into university, handling these arbitration cases every day, studying over 14 hours, it was challenging, but I got great experience. I met those arbitrators. You say that it was hard, but at the same time you prove that you could do this, and it shows that you can do even when you're studying at that particular university. So yeah, it's just you give more details in your than your resume, but you explain it with beautiful words, and you don't have to use very difficult words, hard to understand. You just need to be simple and with ordinary words, so anyone could understand. You could show it to your mother, you could show it to someone, just to have their opinion. In my case, my mother, she was the first person. I read my essay. She was, I like this part, but maybe this part is too much, because you might give negative information about cotton picking. So then I was trying to explain in more detail. So you need to make sure that you explain everything. And yeah, just start earlier, and you will not write first maybe 3 or 4 essays. You will have totally different stories every time. But once when you start writing, maybe you will write and close your notebook. After 2-3 days, you open, you edit it, and after a couple of days you close it, and again you edit, and then at the end you will have beautiful 2-page or 2.5-page essay, statement of purpose. In my case, it was 2.5 pages.
Yeah, that's really great. That was really effective for us all, actually. And usually I tell my students that everyone should have a story, and this story might be linked to your future profession. How it happened, why did you choose this profession, and how did you come to this profession as well, and what of your personal experiences made you to decide to choose this profession. In most of the cases, there might be a lot of people who are applying to medicine, and they most of the time say that they came because just they lost their brothers sometimes, and sometimes it's like tragedy and so on. And also, there was also another student who was applying for economics, and he told about how he worked in the big market bazaars, like traditional bazaars, and he saw the how the market was going on, and what time the market was in high prices, and what time the prices were lower. And he analyzed everything, and then he decided to become an economist, because since his childhood, his mind was always thinking about the analyzing things and analyzing the things that were happening, the situation in the market, and so on. And that made him to choose the economics field. And there was a lot of other stories, and I am sure every of you have your own story. Please don't copy paste, don't plagiarize. And I am really, really sure that you have your own experience and you have your own story. And this story is not a story that will repeat in anyone other's life, right? So here you should be really creative, and you should be like, I usually say, you know what? You should be like in the American movies. American movies are like dramatic. In the beginning, they're like, oh my God, crying, this drama. And at the end, it's like happy ending. The problem is solved, and it usually works like that. And really, it really helps. And if you think like Americans, you should write like Americans too, and they will trigger and have the same like emotions to your document as well.
Yeah, I fully agree. And also, some people say, oh, I don't have big achievement, or I don't know what to write. Everybody has achievement. It's just you need to describe and to write it in details. And if you didn't have achievement, you still have time. Go do some extracurricular activities. It's never late, and you just need to figure out. And even small achievement, which might seem small for you, it might be you could write great story about it, and it can be interesting to others. You never know. You just think in your opinions that, oh, it's just a small thing which I did, maybe I shouldn't mention. No, you should mention every single thing. And it's all about how you write and how you, as Tursunoy said, it's storytelling. You should be a person who is reading, they should feel you, it should touch their heart, so that they should they should feel like everything you wrote, they should feel connected to you, and it should be different. And they can know if you're copying. If you're just copying, everyone can say, if you show me your statement of purpose, I can say if you wrote it by yourself or if you copied. But don't copy and paste. Yeah, this is biggest advice. You can reading other statement of purpose is helpful, and I read over 100 statement of purpose, but just to have idea how that person wrote, to have idea how I should structure, but not to copy and paste.
Yeah, and sometimes you can use the phrases that they have used, like I don't know, like there might be a lot of like English coalitions, I don't know, like the phrases that you might use in your story as well, but it's not like copy pasting. It's not like the full sentence that you might use in your paragraph as well. But yeah, still. Okay, that's great. Let's go on. By the way, how did you write about the motivation in the last paragraph of your statement of purpose? Can you remember?
Last paragraph, I was mentioning, if I'm not mistaken, I think I wrote about how I see myself, about my future plans, and also telling them that they will not regret if they accept me. Not directly, but so again, statement of purpose is telling yourself. You say, I have this, I have been through that, and I will be great asset because I speak this language, and I have this background, and I will do. You also say, I can do this at university, I can do that, because they're not going just to give you scholarship if you're not going to do anything for them. It's like win-win situation. They give you scholarship, and they should make sure that you do in return for them. Maybe some organizing some events, or maybe organizing some MUN conference, I don't know. But yeah, at the end, I was just assuring that I don't remember exactly wording how I said, but it was, I would be great asset, and they will not regret if they accept me.
Yeah, that's great. That was really helpful actually, but because most of the time students write the essay, but at the end they do not know what to say. They'd be like stuck in one place. What should I say here, and so on. And there was a lot of more cases where in the statement of purpose there was a lot of like needless words, needless paragraphs where the person would be like saying, but there is no any like sense in it. And what I say is like in the statement of purpose, every sentence, every word makes sense, and it should make sense in the whole passage. And that's why I don't use a lot of cliche, banal words, banal phrases, and so on. Just be to the topic, to the purpose, right? And
They don't like when you go around. Exactly. Yeah, you should stick to the point. And make sure that grammar is correct, because if you have some grammatical errors, we might make some grammar mistakes when we are talking or when we are writing, but for statement of purpose, they expect you spending some time, they expect you writing it for over weeks or months. So you take your time to make sure that there is no grammar mistake, and you are not going around, you are just staying to the point, no extra information, but make sure that you explain the reason why they should choose you, not someone else. You need to sell yourself, because they don't know you, they have never met you. They just read your essay. Through this essay they will get to know you. If you leave good impressions, then they will invite you to the next step. If you don't leave good impression, so the same for UGRAD. If you are considering to apply for UGRAD, you need to write very good essay. So everywhere, let it be UGRAD, let it be university application to UGRAD. So this essay shows the person. You just need to make sure that you are writing down all your qualities, all information they should know about you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sabina. Guys, if you've been hearing us, please write your questions here in the chat. We will be answering all your questions here. And right now, I'd like to ask Sabina about the universities. And how many universities did you apply to? Which universities did you apply? And what universities would you recommend the students to apply to right now?
So I applied to 5 universities, 2 Canadian and 3 American. And so each university, when you apply, you have to pay application fee. And biggest tip, guys, you can always ask for application fee waiver if you are applying on time before the deadline. And out of 5 universities, 2 of them they waived, but I had to pay for three universities. And make sure that you apply to at least 5 universities if you are planning to come to America or Canada or abroad. If you are applying only to 1 university, I don't think it's a good idea. You might lose a year, because you never know which university at the end will end up giving you scholarship, the bigger amount of scholarship. And I applied to 5 universities, and those 2 Canadian universities, one accepted, but another, after paying application fees, they told me I don't have 5 years work experience, and they rejected. I'm like, they could have told me earlier before paying application fee, but that's fine. Then another university, they gave me full scholarship, and till the end I was like, should I go to Canada or should I go to University of Miami? I was torn between these 2 universities, but I ended up choosing Miami because of the program I studied. It was arbitration, and it was top 10 in this program itself was among top 10 in US, and I'm so happy that I chose I also applied to University of Wisconsin Madison, and so that university was also, they gave me good amount of scholarship, and University of Notre Dame. So how I chose these universities, you need to pay attention to ranking, you need to pay attention to program, what you want to study, if they have good program, because your purpose, depending on your purpose, if your purpose is just getting visa and coming to America, then you don't really care about the program ranking. But if you really want to come study and be professional in your sphere, you need to have good education. If you have good education, you will meet great professors, people, group mates, so it will help for your networking. Good university ranking is really important. And if you don't know how to choose university, my suggestion, just you need to start doing research every day, maybe 2 hours, an hour, seeing, okay, let's say if you want to study business, which universities have good ranking on business, which universities have scholarships for business specialty, and also make sure that they have scholarship for international students. Some universities, they have different scholarships, for example, for Africa or for different countries. And one student, she didn't pay attention and applied to that university, and she was disappointed that she didn't get scholarship. And I was like, it's your mistake that you didn't pay attention. The fact that they didn't provide scholarship to every international student. So you need to do your own research. No one is going to help you. Even if you are asking someone's help, they can direct you, they can guide you, but it's your responsibility to spend time every day, 2-3 hours. I remember I spent more than 1 year every day, whenever before going to bed, with my phone, I would just check universities. Okay, they have this program. Okay, they have this ranking. Wow, this university has this scholarship. Let me try. Why not? And what would I do? I would check if someone from Uzbekistan or Central Asia is studying there or has already studied, and I would reach out to that student and ask their experience, how they got scholarship, or just a few recommendations, how should I approach correctly. So yeah, choosing university, it's your responsibility, and you do your own research, you spend time. You cannot do it within 1 week, you cannot do it within maybe even within 1 month. You need to spend time. If you decided to apply to university, make sure that you're fully dedicated, because it takes time, it takes efforts. And if you don't do it, if you don't have desire or time, no one can help instead of you. So you should do it. And yeah, I think that's all.
Yeah, that was a really great point actually about the universities. I got a lot of like questions in my direct, in my phone, and everywhere. People would be asking like, what university should I apply to get the full scholarship? Where can I get accepted, and so on? These kind of questions, and I say, there are 5,000 universities in the US. I cannot say only one university, and I cannot advise only one university for you, because I don't know what program you want to, and I don't know what is your motivation. Where do you want to study? What state would work for you the best? And what's your GPA that would work for you? And so on. There's a lot of nuances and questions that actually will help you to decide to go to only to particular type of universities, not only like those universities that everyone goes, like Arizona State, and so on. And yeah, this is a really personal question. I cannot recommend only one university to every of my students. And that's what we do in our full mentorship courses. We help students to find out which program works best for them, and what program would give them the best scholarship. At the moment, we have been working with a lot of students who are applying to master's degrees as well for early action. And now we have been doing a lot of research about every university, every program for every student, because it takes time, and the research for every student is different. It will not be the same, because the student has the different program, the different experience, and the different like I don't know, like dreams and so on, motivations. And yeah, if you're really have been having a lot of troubles with the research about the universities, please ask us help. My organization, TNT Progress, will help you to get what universities to decide to apply, and how you can do it in the right way so that you will not lose any year. Ребята, вам сейчас понятно? Мы вообще перешли на целый прям плавный английский язык, и мы говорим на своем темпе. Не сложно ли вам вообще понимать? Если вам очень сложно, пожалуйста, напишите в чате, что вам было непонятно, в каком месте вы не поняли, и какой вопрос вы бы хотели, чтобы мы ответили ответили на русском или на узбекском языке, окей?
I see we have some questions in chat. Can I answer quickly?
Yeah, sure.
So Zufar John Ochilov is asking difference between JD and LLM. So I studied LLM and it's 1-year program, master's in law, and JD it's Juris Doctor program. It's 3 years program, and you need to have LSAT exam. It's like SAT, but LSAT is for law students. It's law related exam, and yeah, the difference is when you graduate LLM, you will have master's in law. When you graduate JD, you will have Juris Doctor degree. This is the biggest difference. And there was another question, bachelor's degree. What was your major in Miami Law School? Was also international sales. My major was international arbitration, as I mentioned. So I studied international arbitration, and there were other options: LLM in international law, LLM in taxation. And if you want to get more information in details, you can check website. And for everyone, my suggestion, if you need any specific advice, first of all, you go to university website. The most reliable information you can find is university website. Asking from people is great idea, but if you have very detailed, or maybe if you don't know about, for example, if Boston University, let's say, if it has arbitration program, you just go to website and check, or if you have a question about maybe scholarship for international students, you go to website, and even when you're choosing university, checking website is always helpful, and it's the most reliable source you can get.
Yes, that's great. Can you tell what universities were they, like the universities that you applied?
I'm sorry, can you repeat?
Can you make a list of the universities that you have applied?
Well, Canadian I cannot, but American, yes. It was University of Miami, University of Wisconsin, and Notre Dame. It's Notre Dame. I can write in chat.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And what universities would you suggest for now, and how have your thoughts about universities changed? Do you think they have changed, or would you apply to some other universities as well if you were in that moment, right, with the mind that you have right now?
Tursunoy, I lost you at some point. Can you repeat your question? I cannot hear you well.
Yeah, the question was, would you apply to some other universities with the mind that you have right now after living 1 year in the US?
I think I would apply to more universities. 5 was a good idea, but out of 5, 3 was American. I wouldn't apply to 3. Maybe I would apply to 6, 8, and I would ask for application fee waiver earlier. So I didn't know about it, and I was paying every time I applied for universities. But if you do everything on time before the deadline, and if you start earlier, so you can get application fee waiver. Not all universities provide, but it doesn't hurt if you ask for it. And if you get, let's say, maybe 4 out of 8, you will pay only to 4 universities. Each university application fee is around $200, and for our people, it might be a little bit challenging to just pay, and knowing that you will not going to study in each university. But it's why I encourage everyone if you best scholarship, and until the end there will be discussions, writing emails, and with admission officers, So once when you get full scholarship or biggest amounts, then you can just write email to other universities saying that you already decided. But until the end, you don't know. In my case, I applied in early November and I got result in February. But I was not sure if I would go to Miami until April. So it was really good that I paid and applied to Canadian, and as that I was sure just to have extra. You never know which one will be the best option for you.
Yeah, you are right. And Mhm. Go ahead.
There is another question from Zaruch. Hi, Zaruch. We studied at the same university. He's asking, what about career after LLM? So career after LLM, I'm still working on it. I'm having interviews. So I just took bar exam, and after LLM, you will be eligible to sit for bar exam, and it's one of the hardest exams in US, and you will get results after 3 months. But you can work as after LLM, you can work as a paralegal, or if you have foreign as a foreign associate, if you have enough experience, you can always work as foreign lawyer. But in my case, so far, I wasn't lucky enough to have a job as foreign associate because I don't have 5 or 6 years of working experience as a lawyer, because I was not practicing lawyer in Uzbekistan. Yeah, but there are many opportunities. I know some students who decided to continue their career in academics, and my friend, she also graduated from LLM and she's doing now her PhD. Some students, they start practicing and they go to start, and you can work as an assistant in the beginning, but once when you have bar license, you will be licensed attorney, and then you can practice by yourself. Tursunoy, you are muted. We cannot hear you.
Sorry. Thank you so much for your answers that were really working like practical answers and recommendations. And there was another topic that we would like to discuss with you, which is actually how to ask for full scholarship from the universities. As you already have some experience about it, please could you get us a little bit more like detailed information? What was the discussion with your university and how did it went to the full scholarship?
Well, I was not sure when I applied if I could get full scholarship. I was hoping, believing, but I was like, because it's so competitive and only one student gets full scholarship, and I was just hoping and doing my best. There is no one answer like you can give. So if you got, let's say, 50% scholarship, I always advise to my friends, ask for more. You can say, you can write email saying that you are so grateful for this opportunity and you're excited, and this university is your dream university to study, but you have financial difficulties, or you can explain that with our currency and with our salary, it's hard to cover your tuition fees, your living expenses, or maybe your parents cannot do, they can do this much, but if they increase this much, then I would be happy to study. You can just explain and be honest. You can just tell. I had a friend, I told him just to ask for more, and he had 50%, and then he wrote that his parents' earnings were maybe $500 or $600 per month in our currency, and then he wouldn't be able to afford. But studying at that particular university, it was his dream, and then he got 80% scholarships, they increased, but it was not full scholarship. So you can always ask for more, and some people are afraid to ask for more, thinking that it might affect their result, or they already got acceptance, and if they ask more, it might kind of like they might say, oh no, this student is asking more, let's reject the application acceptance. When you are accepted, they will not reject. Don't worry, and even if you ask more, it will not hurt your application process or application status. So don't be afraid. I wish I knew this, or I could ask from all universities full scholarship, because I didn't get full scholarship from all those 5 universities. I had only from 2 of them. Another one was 95 and one was 90%. If I knew it, maybe I would ask more. But anyways, I'm happy with my choice that I chose University of Miami, and they had this scholarship, and even when you go to websites, they explain in details why they give this scholarship to whom, and you can see if you're eligible, and past students who got scholarship, you can always check. But if university or college you're applying, if they don't have full scholarship, I think asking for full scholarship is not helpful, because they don't have full scholarship. If they have full scholarship, it will be mentioned in their website. I know one university, they have diversity scholarship, and student, she applied for that university, and she was asking, I'm applying for this university for this scholarship, diversity scholarship, and studying under this scholarship will help to achieve my dreams. And she was mentioning in her statement of purpose, and then she got this scholarship. If you know name of the scholarship, it's better to include it. In my case, it was White and Case Carolyn Lamb scholarship, and I also mentioned it in my statement of purpose. That's why, again, conducting research is really important. You have to make sure that university has specific scholarships. If it has name, you need to make sure that you mention the name in your statement of purpose. Or maybe if they invite you for Zoom meeting, you also mention, you say, oh, you're so thankful, grateful, and be humble, smile all the time, but say that you want it, you deserve it, and you have done so much that they should give it to you. You're muted, Tursunoy.
Sorry, I'm muting myself and I'm forgetting that I'm muted. Okay, I have another question. Did you ask for full scholarship from the first email, or did you ask for more scholarship in your first email?
No, so in my case, when I applied, it was early November, and I applied, and I just said that I'm applying to this university to study, and I mentioned by 10K scholarship, and then I got email from university in February saying that I got accepted, but they were not mentioning about scholarship. Then they invited me to have Zoom conference, and we had Zoom meeting. And after having Zoom meetings, they emailed me. It was early March, and then they mentioned that they will give me Vitamin K scholarship. But I know some students, they get, let's say, 90% scholarship, and after having Zoom meetings, they just explain, hey, I cannot afford to study, but if you give me full scholarship, I would be grateful, and then they get scholarship. In my case, we had Zoom meeting first. They said that I was already accepted, but they were still trying to figure out if I deserve, if I will be one of the winners of this scholarship.
What were the questions in the Zoom meeting? Was it like interview of your LLM program, or was that about your personality only?
Oh, well, so they were asking why arbitration, how I became interested, and I talked about my Wismut experience. They were asking how I see myself in 5 years. This question is usually asked everywhere, almost in all universities. You should know how you see yourself, what are your plans. And they were asking about specific questions about arbitration. And also they asked about my experience, work experience. And so I told them that I worked at embassy, and there were specific questions about my internships.
Okay, that's great. About the intern, so they have been asking you only about your experience, not like the specific questions from the subjects that you might know, like some facts that's in the science, nothing like that.
Oh, they asked me about arbitration because my major was arbitration, and I told them. And I said I was in Wismut, and I explained them what I did when I was in the team, and why I became interested. And I explained them why I want to continue studying in arbitration. And they were asking me specific questions about arbitration, international arbitration, but not from other subjects.
Oh, I see. That's great. So you were really a person who surprised them during the interview, because you surprised them with your knowledge, with your answers to their questions. You were not lost to the questions that they have asked, right?
No, not at all. And my biggest tip would be, if you're invited to have Zoom meeting, you need to practice very well. And in my case, I also practiced maybe a couple of times with my friends, and it was always helpful, even for internships or for every interview I had. Always practicing helps. And no matter how genius you get nervous, and during interview, even if you're nervous, if you're well practiced, if you know what you're going to talk, you can say that you're a little bit nervous, but you can always answer. And also, because of the time difference, it was at 10 or 11 p.m. and so you just want to make sure that even if it's late, you don't look tired, or you just smile all the time, and you know already answers to those questions. For example, how you see yourself, what are your plans, why you want to study at this specific university, and what can you give in return if they give you scholarship. They will not ask you, what can you give me in return? But those questions, behind the reason behind those questions, they will be this kind of meaning, why they should consider you, not someone else.
Yeah, exactly. You were really super perfect about that. I'm really fascinated about your experience and about the facts that you have been given. Guys, do you have any other questions? Please ask us.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, assalamu alaikum. Sorry for lately joining. I'm so sorry. And I interested in this university, and I would like to ask about architecture field, this architecture. The reason is I'm interested in architecture, and what can I do, and for joining to study in bachelor degree.
Well, I studied at law school, and I can give you detailed information regarding application to law school, but there was architecture, I remember. And my advice, go to website and check the, that I think it must be in business school, and there were different schools, and campus was big, so it was on on different campus. So I am not really sure about architecture, but so you can check website, and there will be email and phone number, and you can always email admission officers, and they are so helpful. They sit there to help students, and I myself emailed more than 10 times before applying. Whenever I had questions, and you can just email and say ask your specific questions, and they should help you, because I personally don't know about architecture, but if it was law school, I know, but I'm so sorry.
I can help you with that. Nodrahan,
Yes.
hi.
Yes.
For getting accepted to the architecture school, if you want to go to engineering school in the University of Miami, then please go ahead and fill in the application of common application to apply to any of the US universities. You should have also your IELTS exam. Your IELTS score should be at least 6.5. And also you should have your SATs. The University of Miami requires the exam of SAT, and your scores from SAT should be at least 103,000. Oh my God, 1,300 out of 1,600. Okay, I'm so sorry. I'm so tired by the end of the day. And
Could you repeat again number, please?
the number should be 1,300 out of 1,600. I can write you in the chat.
Okay, okay.
This is the SAT that you should have to apply to the school, and the deadlines are coming very soon. You should apply to SAT and get your results before December of this year. And if it would be even earlier, that would be even more greater. And if you have any other questions, please email me or direct me in my direct, and I will help you with all the questions that you might have.
And you know, and my last time my IELTS score was 5, but it's not enough, and it requires me to send again, yes, 6,
Yes.
at least 6.5. But
Yes.
I have not SAT, and I have no about information SAT, but I have a portfolio because of I have a in this field. I have a also drawing skills, for also technical skills which relates to the architecture and design sphere, and I can creativity. I have creativity skills for technically and for by hand. Do they require also portfolio? The reason is some kind of as I listen, they require portfolio.
Yeah. The thing is, some universities also might require you the portfolio if you're applying to bachelor's, but that might be not the case for bachelor's degrees. Even though you might have listed all of your works in the right way, and you can apply it and attach it as an additional document for your profile and for your application. That would help you to get more scores to get accepted to the university.
Yes, and for this December, yeah, and the scholarship, it means like a grant, yeah, as I understood, it's like a grant. It's 100% grant, or some kind of percentage of 50 or 70%.
It depends on your qualities and your qualifications about like GPA, about from your GPA scores, your SAT scores, IELTS scores, and your recommendation, motivational letters. Everything in one like package will help you to get a scholarship. If everything in your application is in a high quality, then you can say that you can get more scholarships than other students. And but if your results are not that high, you cannot like demand them full scholarship. That's why you should work on yourself most of the first of the time, and please be sure that your IELTS at least 6.5, first of all.
I see we have other questions. If you don't mind, I continue because we are ending the Zoom soon. So someone is asking me about, have you had other international competitions except Wismut? I was in UN conference and most of the time, 4 or 5 times. But international only Wismut. And there is another question. Which one was like what made outstanding in my application? What do you think, which strong points of yours made you outstand? So there is no one point which makes you outstand. All of them are equally related, equally needed. And IELTS score, your statement of purpose, your recommendation letters, your experience, work experience, and also your resume, everything is equally important. There is no less or more important, so you should pay attention to each of them equally. And for Nodira, if you have like more questions, you can always ask Tursunoy, or if you have some questions where I can be helpful, you can also message me. I will write down my emails for my email for you guys. If you have specific questions about law school or about application process, if I can help, I would be happy to help. But about if it's not regarding law school, I might refer you where you can find. But yeah, I will do my best to help.
Thank you, both of you. And yeah, absolutely. I have a question. Firstly, I'm sorry, I don't know your name and also your names. That's why I don't know how to call you that because of I lately joined. I'm so sorry this conversation. That's why it's so interesting for me if you give your email or contact numbers. And firstly, also I also learned some kind of news and some kind of information about this university. And absolutely, and I will have a new question about this one, how to do and how to achieve easier way. That's why. And firstly, I really focus on to study in a grant. The reason is it's important, and I want to increase, and I want to study in this field, in architecture. In pandemic, I learned the courses, the online courses. Each university opened their courses in pandemic, and I started in this field, but I need to also teach the bachelor degree. It's not enough just the courses.
Yeah, Nodira, I recently typed my number here. Please call me and text me in the Telegram. I will help with your case in a private messages, okay?
Yeah, thanks so much. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All of you, thanks so much.
Sabina, we have another question from Maria here.
Does full funding include campus, or do you have to pay separately? No, full funding doesn't include campus, and I was not allowed to stay on campus because law students were not allowed, and I was living in a rented apartment. And even if I had full scholarship, it means they cover only tuition fee. So you have to cover your rent, meal, your transportation, your insurance, everything else you have to cover by yourself. But if you don't have full scholarship, it will be really hard for you to pay even for tuition fee. But there are some universities, if you have full scholarship, they include living expenses as well. But in my case, they covered only tuition fee.
Thank you, Sabina. I guess we have all the questions already answered, and thank you so much for your participation and your time. I really appreciate it, and you were really helpful to all of us, and most of the cases to my students. They were, I have a lot of students who are actually applying to law school this year, and I'm sure that you were a very great asset for them. And your experience is unique, and I've been hearing a lot about you from other students as well. You are a very famous student in the US, because I've been hearing like comments from other students that they would like to talk to you in person. How could they like contact you and so on? And that was for me as a Global UGRAD network, I was really privileged to know you, to have that kind of people around me. And thank you so much for considering my offer to coming into my webinar for nothing, for almost nothing. And yeah, I hope you got a lot of energy from us as well, because everyone liked your story, and your recommendations were really, really helpful. I'm sure about it.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and I'm so sorry that we couldn't do it earlier, but I'm very glad that finally we could do it. And I'm always happy to help students, and I left my email address, and so if you have specific questions, guys, don't feel shy, just keep asking your questions. And I know Tursunoy is doing her best, and she's trying so hard to help you guys, so you can send her direct message, and she is always helpful. I remember she was trying to find different scholarships for her students, and she's doing a great job, and I wish her best of luck. And everyone else who is applying, who is considering universities, I wish you best of luck, and just don't give up. It might be challenging, it will be hard, and we all have been through this process, but once when you get your result, you will be so thankful that you didn't give up, and results will make you forget all those hard times, believe me. Just keep moving, and surround yourself with people who motivate you to help you, to support you during this application process. And I'm sure so you are here today, you want to learn, I'm sure you will get scholarship, you will come to US. Just keep doing your best and don't give up. Thanks for everyone joining.
Thank you so much, Sabina. That was a really good ending for our webinar. I'm going to bed very motivated after this webinar. Thank you so much for your comments and everything. Guys, I hope you got everything that we have been trying to explain you. Today we talked only in English. And guys, if you still didn't understand anything, please type in the messages. I will help you to explain it in Uzbek or in Russian or in any other language. But guys, if you want to go to USA, English should be your first language. After all, like at the end of the day, English is going to be the language that you will be using for the whole day. And so, yeah, we are trying to give you that atmosphere, like environment of English language, English speaking people. So yeah, guys, thank you so much. Sabina, thank you so much for your time. Have a great day, and for us it's a great evening.
Yeah, you guys have great evening, and it was my pleasure to join, and I wish you best of luck, and see you all in US.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I hope they will see you, and we will find you in the US, and we'll have a great reunion as well, right?
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.